Well, welcome viewers to the second session of the Australian National Billiards Championship Final 2019. We're at the halfway mark of the match between Matthew Bolton, the defending champion, and Steve Mifsud. And the match is at an interesting stage now with
Yes, it's been a long 8 days, David. This is the end of it after the previous tournament, the Pacific International, and the Australian title obviously following. And we have one more session to go, and the two best players all week that have made 500 breaks are playing off in the final, which is not a surprise. And hopefully they can play a little bit better than they did in the first session, which was, I'd say, below their own expectations.
That's definitely true, David, that it was below their expectations and probably ours too. Nonetheless, it's interesting to note that Matthew averaged over 30 in that first session, and Steve averaged 20. Now, averaging 20 will win you plenty of Australian championships, but at the moment Steve's behind by 400 odd points, and Matthew Bolton's in play with 121 unfinished, and he just lost position before the interval with the red dropping in on his last shot, which means Matthew being the yellow, he's got a tricky position here. He either needs to spread the balls around the table by running through the white, or play a risky shot coming off the side cushion, which could turn out beautifully, but could be very risky as well. And Neil Brown, our referee, is just coming to the table. The players are shaking hands. The clock's about to start, and we're about to get underway.
Yes, I think this first shot, Matthews will probably be able to play a little run through. It's a matter of scoring after this shot, I think, which is his main focus. So here we go.
Yeah, so he's pushed that right around the table. He just.
Yeah, well, he couldn't afford to play too hard, so
that's right,
he's push shot, but he's landed okay.
So this is David Pitt and David Collins with you in commentary, and we've got Dan Lynch, our producer, who's twiddling the knobs and making sure that the pictures and sound come to you in the best possible fashion. We're in here now for a 2.5-hour session of what we hope will be top flight billiards from two of Australia's greatest ever cueists. These two guys have won over 40 national championships between them, which is absolutely staggering in billiards and snooker. And they've both made a 500 break this week, so they're both in excellent form. And we're just hoping to see that they can really light us up with some big breaks in this final session.
Yes, and the picture looks an absolute treat too, David. As you can see, you can clearly see the shine of the ball and the cloth, and very the clarity is fantastic that we got here, and hopefully we can get some good billiards along with it.
So Matthew's just underhit that one a little bit. He would have preferred to have gone in off in the middle here, but he's going to have to play a long range cannon. These are always problematic because you'll never be 100% certain of the contact. He's got nice contact on the red there.
There was, and not easy to contact the red on that spot from that distance. That's too. Right. So
didn't try to do too much. He just left the white to come towards the middle of the table.
Yeah, he played it smart. Yeah.
Beginning of a session, you're always just feeling your way. You're not quite in the rhythm yet, so it's just important to not be too ambitious and just try and.
They've had a 2.5 hour drop, as you say. They've had a 2.5 hour break, and they're probably going to need a few shots to get their arm going, so to speak. Yeah. Perfect weight for Matthew there.
Yeah, it's like the perfect drop cannon position.
You judged that very well.
It's fair to say, David, that in the first session that neither player really had their drop cannons working. weren't quite getting perfect position. This one looks
What's that to
good.
stop?
Oh, almost a
Could be touching that.
yeah, they're not touching. It looks as though he's got a miniature smother there, so...
Might have to play a little swerve here.
Yeah. Just the fickle nature of drop cannons. He was within a millimetre of perfect position then. Oh,
well,
little massé there, but
it was well played. He made the shot. He couldn't do much about the position, and like he really got onto that, didn't he?
He did. He overcooked it in the end,
Yeah,
but
so
you can't sort of hold back on those.
it was a great scoring
You've got
shot.
to make sure you score. Yeah.
Oh, he's missed it.
I think he's missed that one.
Yeah.
But I think he had a bit of luck with that kiss, leaving Steve's ball on the cushion there.
Steve will be going to well to score off this.
Yeah, so nice break of 145 there by Matthew.
Oh,
just
yes,
to
by the
push
way,
his
that was-
lead
yeah.
out to 430, and now it's up to Steve to try and do something here. This is no snack. Yeah, no, difficult shot. Difficult shot.
Yeah, it was a difficult shot.
Couldn't put any side on it because he was under the cushion, and he just had to, go thin off the red, hoping to go into a fairly blind pocket.
I don't know about you, David, but I'm happy to see him play 2 by 2.5 hour sessions. It's a lot easier for the crowd and the organisers, and it's quite a good hit out having 5 hours of billiards.
Definitely 5 hours. I mean, the idea of longer matches is that the better player will prevail over that longer distance. Of course, going back into the professional era, they used to play for a fortnight.
Yeah, used to. Yeah.
But these days, the longer matches are getting quite rare. The World Championship level now, finals are played over 5 hours. So this final has been played in recent years over 6 hours, 3 2-hour sessions. But the organisers this year have modified that to 2.5 hour sessions. There's no doubt that both players get every chance over that distance to show their stuff if they're good enough. The run of the balls should even out over that long period, but we'll see what happens.
Yeah, Matthew played it, hit the red a little bit thin there, so that's why he's going to have to come back again. Cross loser, red over the centre, push it back behind the spot, another drop cannon, and could be back to where he was just a minute ago. The off being the loser, of course. Some people mightn't be familiar with how we talk, and we just talk the way we talk. But winners and losers, and a winning hazard is in off, and a losing hazard is a pot, sorry, and a losing hazard is an in off. So
yes, it's very interesting the history of those terms, David. When billiards began, there were only 2 balls, your ball and the opponent's ball, and if you potted your opponent, you got points, so you won. That became a winning hazard. But if you went in off, then you lost points, and that's why it's called a losing hazard.
I see.
Yeah, very interesting. So that terminology, which dates from the 18th century, is still in use today in the 21st century. So they played along like that for who knows how long, and then some genius in the late 18th century decided to add in a 3rd ball, and they added the red in, which suddenly transformed the game, because then we had cannons and winning and losing hazards. Suddenly it became the 3-ball game that we know today. But imagine just playing with 2 balls. Not a lot of fun.
No. Exactly.
A good pot there, bridging over the other ball. That's
very hard to control.
Hard to control that. You really have to have central striking on the cue ball to get the right contact on the red. So that's a good shot there. Oh, it just slipped in off the jaw, that one.
Yeah.
But he's in perfect position here.
Yeah, he's pretty well there now. Steve needs to get back to the table ASAP and make some kind of a score when he does. Otherwise, could slip away. But Matthew would be mindful that Steve can make a 500 break now, and not that he has to make it in one visit, but he could make a 2 and a 300 and catch up as well. So when you've got still a long way to go, so there's still a bit of pressure there.
Beautiful cue ball control there from Matthew in those 2 shots, just screwing back about 8 inches or so to get on a good angle off the red, and then a very pretty soft stun to create an angle for this cannon, and he's now got them exactly where he wants them. You can just see him on this shot. He'll be playing this on a little bit of right hand side just to bring himself up on a good angle for the cannon coming back the other way.
Yes, he's got a few inches to work in there, probably 3 or 4 inches. If he comes not quite far enough, he can check it side, or if he's too far, he can use a bit of a running side to get a similar result.
So every shot here that they're playing at the top of the table, Matthew had a little bit of running side on the cannon to just get the right angle on the red. Even potting the red there, he just potted that with a little bit of side to take it exactly where he wanted to. This one he'll have a little bit of side on, with check side this time, just to slow it down off the cushion. Keep them all tight. It's beautiful to watch the skill of this one. That one he just played centre ball.
Yeah, he doesn't like letting that white ball drift down too far down, close to the cushion, does he? And he's always pushing it back up there. Got it mastered there. I said in the first session, I was saying that I think a big one's coming, a big break, and it didn't happen, but I'm sure something's going to happen. With one of them, at least one of them, a big score will be made.
Yeah, just left himself with too much angle here. Had to come out wide. This isn't ideal because he's actually pushing the wide away.
Yeah, he just wants to
on
rest.
the spot, but he's just landed on it.
Yeah, he just wanted to rest on the wide. Didn't want to push it too far down.
Yeah, but this is just a bit awkward. Yeah, no, he's got a clear shot at it. Beautiful firm pot stunning up off the top cushion, almost
Another screw back to give himself more angle here, and away we go again.
With that stun, he almost, it was like a stun with top spin, the way he played that straight pot. Check side, just slowing the white, slowing the yellow down.
Yes, players that don't really know the game, and they can watch this go on and on for hundreds of points and think, well, there's not much to this, but I can assure you that you go and try it and try to control the balls. It's not that easy.
Oh, he's got a lovely angle here. Just dropping down on this. A little bit thick on that, doesn't matter. That perfect pace control, he's just come back into within a foot of the spot, the perfect distance. Just to be able to roll this thread in slowly. Nice angle to come back. So just while we're chatting and Matthew's just been knocking him around for a bit, he's chalked up 105. Taking his lead now out over 500 points.
Gone a little bit far there.
He's done that a couple of times, but nothing that a bit of check side won't fix up.
No problem. A couple of shots later and we're back in perfect position.
Yes, it could just be
It's
a
a
little
bit
bit
wide, is
awkward.
it?
This one, it could be a little bit wide. Yes, he can't
I think it may be a soft screw.
go
with-
off the top
like a-
cushion, so he's just going to have to either pinch this or a little
Yeah.
soft screw.
Soft screw, like really soft.
Yeah,
It's a
very
delicate
soft,
shot.
yeah.
Looks-
Oh,
I know,
It's not
he-
so delicate.
he wasn't. He wasn't taking a risk of hitting
Yeah.
it soft. But there you go. It's funny, isn't it? You look to be absolutely cruising, and one shot that's not quite.
It's one shot. And they're only, the balls were all within 6 inches of each
Yeah,
other. And yet
exactly.
he was out of position. And now he's going to have to play
But,
a series of recovery shots.
He still controlled that
Get
pretty
them
well,
back in.
even though with
He
the
did.
wrist, and you
Yeah.
can, from that
No,
position.
He sent the red ball 24 feet to within about a foot or so of where he wanted it to be.
Yeah.
Just the tournament director's phone going off there. Foul for away, Paul.
Well, that was quite a fortunate little kiss there.
I think it
Matthew
was.
got there.
Yeah, I think he can just
He
roll
almost-
off this, and yeah,
He's away again.
he's past 1,000 there.
Very nice.
Pretty shot that, just coming on the wrong side of the white, but just leaving it near the spot and bringing himself down there.
Know Matthew very well. I know he's very proud of his performance, and not just winning. He wants to play a high standard too, and otherwise he's not happy with. Which is fair enough on quality players that want to do their craft as well as possible.
That's right.
So
And they do set high standards for themselves.
yes. So I don't know about you, Dave, but when you have a win, sometimes someone will walk up to you and say, "Well done," and you know deep down that wasn't that good, really. You know what I mean? It's about quality performance, I think,
Yeah,
for your own
well,
personal satisfaction.
yeah.
Regardless of wins and losses next to your name.
It's interesting, I was in commentary with Matthew during the final of the Pacific International when Peter Gilchrist was playing Zuref Gathari. And in that match, which was 1,500 up, in the first session, Zuref opened up with a big break, 290. But then Peter just went 200, 200, 200, 200, made 4 200s in the match.
Yes.
But without ever really having the balls in control, he never really sort of was getting them down to the top and scoring a lot of points. And in the commentary, I said to Matthew, look, Peter's really struggling a bit here. He's not, he's not really able to play as he would like. Matthew's comment to that was, well, actually, that's when you feel at your best, when you're, they're not running nicely, when you feel as though you're. That's a good shot. He doesn't want to kiss here. That's good.
Terrific
It's very
shot,
good.
yeah.
Yes,
Yeah.
controlled stun, just moving the red a few
Yes,
inches,
yeah.
bringing the white down towards the top of the table, and leaving himself an easy in off the red. One cannon, and he's back at the top. So very good billiards.
He'll be attempting to hit the opposition white ball on his left, so to push it near the spot.
So Matthew's comment that he was really making was that that you get a lot of confidence out of scoring well when you're not playing well, and he felt that's an important part of the game.
Well, it's a sign of a good player, a great player, really. When they're struggling, but they keep on scoring, recovering, and they're like scoring machines, So.
He's in trouble here. Lined them all up. They're all on a plate.
Yeah,
there,
well, that was always a possibility, and this will be interesting to.
What are his options, David?
Well, I'd say across the table or straight up.
Mm-hmm.
But
Maybe he's going it off here.
Maybe the off is on. I don't know. Looks a bit.
Having a look at it. Wondering where the kiss is going to take the balls. Yeah, okay.
Looks like he's
wide,
playing it off. Yeah, he could be playing it off.
He can get pocket side on this, which will help him.
Oh no, he's playing a cannon.
Oh,
good shot.
Oh, what a beautiful shot that was.
Great shot.
Well, none of us picked that one. Very good shot.
So there you go. He was behind it, and he realised that was the best option. He not only got the shot, he hit the ball right in the middle.
He did, and
so he judged it extremely well.
He couldn't have been happy with the result of that.
And quite often when you get a shot like that, you almost got no shot on it all. So
with that lineup, Steve would have been halfway out of his chair, thinking, "Oh, here I go." But 2 shots later,
he would have been, and it can be pretty deflating. Like it's like, well, I grab hold of my cue here because it could be my shot in a minute. Next minute, well, I could be sitting here for some time yet because he couldn't go on and make a huge break,
This is the hallmark of the great players. They get into trouble. 3 shots later, they're back at the top of the table.
Yeah. This is exactly what Steve didn't need Matthew to continue on. I think, certainly I was a bit more excited about the prospects of someone pushing Matthew this year with Steve playing so well in the previous rounds and that. And I'm sure you thought, Steve could give him a really good match,
As he has done in the past.
Yeah.
We'll remember at Brunswick where Matthew only beat Steve by 20 points over a 6-hour final in, I think, 2009.
I also know that if Steve is playing it reasonably well, he's going to be up near him, Even if Steve plays well, he makes enough breaks to be right in the game for a long time. So just he had a spell in the second part of the first session where nothing seemed to go right,
Beautiful pace control on that long red. He's did that perfectly to just bounce that on the perfect angle. A real skill that to control the balls over that distance.
Yeah, well, as far as Matthew's top of the table goes, I'd probably, I would pretty well say, my own belief, that Mike Russell would be a better player at top of the table than Matthew, but that's about, I think there's a few of them that'll be on a par with each other. Peter Gilchrist and Matthew and Avandi and a few others, like, as far as scoring at top of the table. But having said that, I don't think Russell was as good as he was like 5 or 10 years ago as well. The world title coming up in Melbourne, I think it's up for grabs maybe for half a dozen players.
Oh, I would think so. Yes.
You can't really.
Yeah.
Because look at last year, with young Saruv Kothari won it, which is a big surprise, But
just played fantastic billiards, came from, out of nowhere, out of the clouds to beat David Corsier in the semi-final.
Well, it was quite amazing.
Made pretty tight tables over there at Leeds. He made a 300 break in the quarter final, 300 break in the semi and a 300 break in the final. He was the only player to get anywhere near doing that. That was tremendous stuff. Beat three great players on the way through to win that, and in doing so, joined a very, very select group of father and son world champions in any sport.
Yes.
So his father, Manoj Kothari, won the IBSF World Championship in the 80s, and then Saurav, by winning the World Championship at Leeds last year, joined his father in doing that. In billiards, of course, there's another example of that. John Roberts Sr. was the acknowledged champion in the early 19th century, and his son John Roberts Jr. became world champion later on. And in motor racing, there's been 2 instances of father-son world champions: Graham Hill and Damon Hill, and the other one was
I honestly
Nico
give
Rosberg and his son, Kiki.
I honestly think Matthew's got a good chance to win that in October.
Pretty shot, that little
Yeah.
kiss shot on the wide, and now he's got a lovely angle here. Just bring them back again. So just a moment's trouble. Beautiful control shot, that.
You see that? I mean, that looks easy enough, but you catch them a little bit thinner, the white up your ball can go up the table, and so it's all about weight of shot, thickness and thinness of contact. It's all together, you know. And well, to be honest, I think Matthew will make 1,000 break, whether it be in this match here or in the world titles or the year after. I think he's too good a player not to make 1,000 break.
He's a beautiful player. You know, there's no weaknesses at all in his game. He's got the power, he's got the accuracy, he's got the potting skills, he's got the knowledge. His knowledge of the game is outstanding, and he comes from a great pedigree over in Western Australia with the great champions over there, and within his own family. Both his grandfathers were state champions, and he's just dedicated himself to this game from a pretty young age.
Well, I reckon there's something in the water over in Western Australia. You had Walter Albert Lindrum and Robert Marshall come from there, and now with Matthew Bolton. I mean, three of the most outstanding players we've seen from that part of the world, world class.
There's definitely something going on.
Something in the water for sure, yeah.
So here's Matthew, 253 now to go on this break, which he's carried on from the interval, and suddenly he's nearly 700 points in front here. So if the alarm bells aren't ringing for Steve now, they should be.
Yes, he's making a bit of a statement at the moment. Like to come back and make a break straight away after you've had a break is not easy to find your touch again, but the more shots he plays even now, the better he's going to feel, because
I'm not sure that he got that quite how he would have liked.
No, not quite. But he recognised that and just played an alternate shot. You know, he didn't muck around.
So this is a bit tricky. This is not exactly how we would like. I mean, just has to drop onto the white here and try and keep it away from the cushion. You know, he hasn't done that. But you'll watch his skills now as he recovers these. He'll probably take one or two shots and perhaps bunch the balls along the top cushion. We'll see what he does. Beautiful soft stun there, just directing his cue ball at almost 90 degrees from the red to give himself a pretty angle here. Trying to knock the white off the cushion, just to create a chance for his ball to get in behind it on the next cannon.
Yes, it'll be interesting to see the way he recovers this situation, Matthew. If those keen billiard players should take note of what he does here and how he goes about it. Get on the practice table and play a few shots and try and do what he does. And
so what's the shot here, David?
Well, I'd say the red side cushion, come underneath the white ball with a lot of side, but he could pot it too. Yeah, he's able to pot it and come over.
That's pretty.
That's
advanced, and he's
made
it pretty well on this one.
That was a great shot. But as I say,
just using
he gave himself options to be able to play that. If he wasn't quite on there, he would have played the other way. So
he played that last cannon there with strong check side, and the purpose of that was not to change the angle, but to make the white travel off the cushion and bring it back closer towards the spot, which he's done perfectly. He's just that minor hiccup, and he's absolutely back in business.
So there you have it. That was one way of recovering the situation. So if you remember the angle, you can play the shot yourself, and because there's usually something you can do in a situation to recover. It's all about recovery. I reckon Bob Marshall had that many recoveries. It was just incredible, you know. He'd be in trouble next minute. He's got him back at the top of the table and scoring. He doesn't want that to drop.
Oh, he
He's
just
okay.
hit it onto the jaw. 295 to go, so this will be the first 300 of the final. Matthew made it 203 in the first session, and now 298 to go with a simple cannon. This will be yet another 300 for Matthew, who they just dripped from his cue.
Yes, and the opponent sitting down waiting to get a shot, it can be a little bit hard to take, and then wondering if you're going to get back in 5-10 minutes or half an hour, you know, and when you do get back, you know you've got to do something, and so makes it even harder.
There's also the coldness factor. You're sitting in your chair, you're stone cold, you haven't had a shot for half an hour, and then you've got to come to the table and produce the goods. It's not easy.
Yes, and
When I say half an hour, at this stage, Steve's been sitting down for about 15 minutes. I think he's underhit that.
yeah,
He would prefer to have brought that back up to the middle pocket so he could pot it and go down. Now he has to play a cannon. There's a danger of a smother here. There's also a danger of knocking the white away.
it's very dangerous.
But, he's played
very
it
dangerous.
perfectly.
He got a double kiss,
kiss,
which is great.
Yeah,
Great shot.
Yeah, great shot. Yeah, but you know there is an element of risk in that cannon.
Well, that's right. It double kisses and moves in front of the between the balls.
Or
So
you
you've
can
got a problem.
Or you can get a smother. You know, there's a few different, as you know, David. There's a few different ways in which drop cannons can go wrong.
And billiards itself it is such a, it can look easy, but it is such a tough game because the fact of the matter is the great Walter Lindrum used to break down. He might have scored 1,000 or two, whatever, in the meantime, but he used to break down. So it's not like you can keep on scoring endlessly. So that's why it's such a hard game.
So Matthew, 316 to go here, and he's just rolling along beautifully now. Having said that, he's a bit straight here on the red. He
Run
would
through.
prefer more angle, yes. Ooh, that's
Oh,
a
stun!
good
Great shot.
Stun, and he had a bit of side on that. That's a good shot. Confident shot. Got to be very confident in your
Yeah, it was cued it really sweet.
Yeah.
Now he's going up for the centre of the table here. Twice off a spot now. Yeah.
Perfect position if we were playing under the balk line rule.
Yes.
Which we're not for this championship, largely for historical reasons. The reason this championship doesn't use the balk line rule is partly to enable accurate comparisons between different eras. So the era of Marshall, Long, and Cleary, and today the players are playing essentially under the same rules. 2 pots off the spot, and
so you'll notice what shot that Matthew just played, the pot of the red in the centre there. He didn't want to. He didn't have to come way down the table towards the opposition ball because the angle was there. So he just did enough what he had to do. Sometimes you don't have to do as much as you. Oh, he's missed it.
Beautiful 330 there, break there.
Break,
Matthew to take his lead out to.
Yeah, well, that was a surprising miss.
That was a surprise. But I think the ball was sort of on the cushion, and on the jaw. He just played it with running
a little
side
lapse in
to create an
concentration,
angle.
respect for the shot, I think there, David.
Yeah, he could have very easily just gone in off that and taken the pot from hand, but he chose to play the more aggressive shot, and unfortunately it just caught it a little thick. Beautiful break though, 330, and Steve's going to have to respond with something pretty special here. A 200 here would just sort of, settle the butterflies a bit and just keep Matthew in his chair. It's got to be Steve's first objective here. This looks a bit... it's very unlucky there. Steve's covered the spot with his own ball.
Yes,
Which,
I think Steve tried to move the yellow there on the side cushion, but
didn't come off. And now, because his ball's occupying the centre spot, the red goes onto the pyramid spot. Now, this is actually pretty tricky here because it's too wide to go in off. You can't actually get in off this, except with a big forcer. So his options here are limited.
Yeah, things are a little bit awkward at the moment. It's 750 behind.
Yeah. He's going to have to smash this to get this. Yep.
No. And what usually happens is you end up like that, setting Matthew up again.
Look at this.
Giving him an easy off the white.
Half ball in off with the red hanging over the centre. So
yeah. It seems to go like that when you when things aren't going your way.
He's overcooked that.
Well, he made the shot. It must have been a little bit of a force. So I thought it looked like a drop off, didn't it? But
it did, but no,
he had
clearly
to,
by sending the white twice across, it was a bit of a force. This is a sort of shot where Matthew excels. He stunned that, apart from leaving it in balk, he stunned that red and made sure that he brought it on a good line, but didn't quite hit it hard enough. Maybe the table isn't
well, he's just
a little bit slower than he was thinking.
Well, that's a sign of respect Matthew's got for Steve. Like, he knows the ability Steve's got, so he's not playing anything risky. Although the pot was risky in itself, but he wants to try and keep a tight rein on things.
This is difficult now. If Steve's facing this, he's got to probably try and move the red away from there.
Because Matthew can go in off the red or pot it, so he's probably done the right thing by
he's fluked his
hitting,
own ball, but
this isn't a luxury.
This is no snack, David.
No.
With the ball so close to the cushion, it's very difficult to avoid that sort of top spin effect, which will keep his ball down at the top end of the table. This cannon is about 50 to 1. He's not even trying, just playing safe.
Probably a good move playing that.
Yeah.
Good safety shot. Oops. Troubles with this shot is if he plays the cannon, the white Matthew's ball is probably going to end up at the other end of the table. If he misses, so
he's having a look at this long-range forcer.
Looks to be close to the cushion to me.
Yeah.
But he knows he's the one there.
Beautiful cue. He's just hitting this with top spin. Just get this full ball and I hit it thin. Difficult shot.
It was a bit close, but. Well, it'll be interesting to see how he goes about getting these balls to the top of the table here, Dave. So
well,
3 or 4 shots.
He's the master. He's the master of this type of scenario. He'll often play these types of things as just a little two-mover. He won't try and go immediately to the top, but he'll just play a shot to leave him another shot to go there. He played it.
Yeah, well,
played it to get there in one, but it hasn't really worked. He
got the white down there, but screwing off.
Looks like it.
Yeah. 9 out of 10, I'd say. This for Matthew.
Ooh.
Well, there we are. That was the one.
Interesting. He played that one with right hand side.
Yeah, we played it to help it, so he wouldn't have to hit it as thick.
Oh,
Steve rushed into that one.
He did. He just went off a little bit quick, and he ended up hitting it a little bit thin and too hard. So he's going to be facing another double walk here.
Yeah. little bit of frustration setting in for Steve at the moment. So I think a nice little 200 or something like that for Steve will make him feel a little bit better. But he's going to have to do it in the next 40 minutes, I'd say, make it 200 to get back, have some sort of chance, because there's been some big comebacks over the years, David, in Australian titles. When Bob Marshall was 600 or 700 behind Tom Cleary and come back to win from a long way back.
Yes, that was a famous one. I remember discussing that one with Tom. He reckoned Marshall had about 10 flukes in that. Break.
Tom said that.
Tom said that, yeah.
Well, Bob didn't tell me that.
No, funny about that.
Funny about, yeah.
This is tricky. He's going to play a good shot here. I think the white's in balk. He's just got to screw this to where he can leave it in off the white, and he's overcooked it.
Bit of no man's land.
Yep.
Is it? Oh no, he might have been in off on.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah. Could get him both. This could be sensational for him.
That's a wonderful,
exactly
wonderful result.
That's exactly what Steve didn't want.
Exactly.
But,
what a great shot that was. Hit that one very slow. Didn't try to do much with that. Just left the red in the magic circle and dropped onto the white. He can run through.
You don't notice where he leaves the object ball, you know. So
didn't try to do much there, but he just left both balls on, and it's actually a beautiful, beautiful little movement. That. Sends the white behind the spot.
Yes, it's unfortunately for Steve, wanting to play his best in an important match. It hasn't really happened so far, and it can build up, and it can make you look ordinary sometimes when you're playing great players and not getting to the table, and rubs going here and there. But we all know this week he's made a 575 break. So you can never take that away from him, and that'll give him, I think, a bit more confidence to do more of it in the future.
And let's not forget, he also made a 300 break in that same session. So
yes,
tremendous,
exactly.
Tremendous.
So that's
300 and 100 and a 575 unfinished. Wonderful billiards.
So heavy scoring
on Sunday. I was playing at the same time, David, so I didn't really see any except the very end of the break, but I could tell from the excitement in the room and the clapping as he passed the various hundreds that something big was going on. Were you playing?
I walked in when he had 510 to go.
Ah, right.
I missed the 500, so I was wondering what everyone's standing around for, and then I realised when they called the score. So yeah, but for Steve, I'm sure he'd love to perhaps make even a 400 against Matthew, and a few 200 or 300s, and which he's capable of doing. But
so yes, on Sunday, Steve knocked in 575, and Matthew, being the perfect gentleman that he is, on Monday paid the compliment with 584. He just pipped Steve. It's a wonderful effort to have two players making 500 breaks on successive days. Yeah.
Yes, for sure.
Control's done. We'll see him now knocking the white away within the next shot or two. Double kiss there.
He's back to where he wants him, at the top of the table, and it's by no means surprising. When I know Matthew's in a final of something or any match, I walk into the room and I'm expecting to be at the top of the table scoring. And he seems to find the different variable ways to get there too, without taking a lot of risk. He's got good vision, very good vision for it.
Just potting that red there with right hand side to control the white against the nap, actually to narrow the angle, not to widen the angle as you normally would with running side with the nap, but just the little subtleties of position in this game.
This is what they call postman's knock, and double kissing the object ball and putting the red over the hole. Something that he doesn't do a lot of, because he prefers to float the white around, but the way it is at the moment, I think he'd be content to do this for 100 or 2.
Perfectly happy, wouldn't we all?
Yeah, something different. Like Walter used to go away from the top of the table and play some nurseries and open game and then come back because he felt like it. It was a bit lucky, it fell in.
Yeah, just caught the jaw, but... There's another one just using... Oh, it's going to drop.
No.
No, it's not. Oh, 90 break there.
Dropping concentration
Nice
for Matthew,
easy,
but
yes.
Still scored 90.
Yeah. Again, it looked very straightforward pot that, David, but you play with that with right-hand side to hold the yellow,
Yeah.
and that just adds a degree of difficulty to the shot. Just so close to falling in.
Well, it'll be interesting to see what Steve can do here, being kept off the table, how we can... It's a good shot. There
It
we
was
go.
a good shot. Yeah, he had his hand on the cushion then, which is... that wasn't a complete snake. It's a good shot too to bring the yellow into the middle of the table. A bit slow,
Yes,
a bit thin perhaps.
it was. It's unusual to see him hit the ball like he's normally got great touch, you know. Yeah.
Ooh, just flicked, that's a bit lucky, that one. He's hit that on the wrong side, the red there, but fortunately by hitting it thin enough, he's finished up with a shot.
Well, now he's got a chance to score something substantial, which... So he's on his bike here. Yeah.
He is.
Yeah.
He's determined to do it. Whatever he's going to do, he's going to do it quickly. Very nice shot.
He's okay. He's soft screwing off. He misses one of these in 1,000, I would say. Well, you can miss that one.
So Good shot there. He had very little angle on that, so he had to hit that hard to bring that red out. And he's just gone a bit straight here. Should be okay. No, he was a bit straight.
Yeah. Trying to score quickly and...
perhaps just
which
trying...
is fair enough, but... Perfect weight, just leave this for a drop cannon. Oh no, in the middle. Oh, well, drop cannon next shot. Yeah. I can safely say he'll be at top of the table in 2 shots, David.
Well, that's what he's hoping. That's what he's planning on doing. Well, it just wobbled in.
Yeah.
Perhaps caught that one a little thin. Anyway, it's turned up perfectly. Displacing the red.
Here we
He's
go.
left his ball on the red
here.
spot and just bounced the red off the cushion. And that's a Bob Marshall trademark, that one.
Looks to be pulling up a bit to me.
Yeah, it does.
What about you, David?
Yeah, I agree. That one, he wanted to push across another 6 inches or so to leave himself an in-off or a pot into the...
But I had a game on this table during the week and it looked to be playing a little bit quicker than what it is at the moment. Yeah.
Well, it's just gone a bit far. Too wide for the cannon, perhaps.
It looks to be, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Screwing off, I think.
Hasn't gone far enough for a long Jenny, so yes. Screwing off. It's not far past the pocket. A heavy, a thick...
Alright.
Plays the long Jenny. Oh, what a beautiful shot.
A great shot.
That might have been right. That must have been right on the limit.
Yeah, well, that's right.
For a long Jenny.
It looked like the red was too far out to play that.
But he's just hit it perfectly.
He loaded it up.
And slow. Perhaps just a fraction thin.
Oh, he's missed that. You can't believe he's missed that.
I don't think he got a kick there, David, because it would have missed by more. If he had a kick, I just think a little bit of running side, perhaps, and it just took off, more than he expected.
Possibly got a kick, yeah. I think Steve's got to just play it reasonable with him, but not too quick. He's got to get his arm going, his feel.
He does vary his rhythm a lot, Steve. When he's really flying, he plays pretty quickly, but often he can, be taking his time, as he is here on this shot. Just make sure of the shot. He's got to get it right. Risky trying to get on the far side of the white like that, isn't it, David? You can leave a smother or something. Oh, it's a beautiful shot. Perfect.
Well, here you go, Steve. Time to have a decent score.
Matthew's just left the room, so he's expecting Steve to make a few here. during the Pacific International, David, I was very impressed with the play of Devar Sharir from India. He's only about 25 years old. He's been coming out to Melbourne for the last 3 or 4 years to play in the tournament. I think the first year he came out, he was still pretty raw, still very tall, but he's really developed in the last 3 or 4 years into a beautiful, beautiful player. Lovely touch, soft action. His top of the table is very, very good.
I've got to agree with you there. I absolutely agree with you 100% there, and he's been making huge breaks too in other tournaments overseas.
That's right, yeah, made a 500 in Canada.
The stats don't lie, and I thought, well, he's definitely improved, and he lost a close semi-final to Kathari. Otherwise he could have been in a final against Gilchrist, and well, who knows what would have happened, but Peter would have been favourite, but yeah, he's improved in leaps and bounds, and interesting to see how good he is in 12 months' time when he comes back.
Yeah,
I'd say he'd be an even better player.
Well, he'll be here in October, I think you'll find, David, for the World Championship. You would expect him to come here. He obviously likes it in Melbourne.
Yes, they all love it, you know. That's
just a careless mistake, that.
Yes,
you've got to make sure you either hit that soft enough to not get to the pocket, or you've got to bring a draw into the equation.
Make sure you can go in off the yellow after this. Just that's it.
Done that nicely.
Good shot.
Don't try to do anything fancy. Just accept that you've made a mistake and just push them into an open position.
Long shot for me. He had to go in off the yellow to me. For me, anyway.
I agree with that, David. I think he was just trying to do too much and trying to recover, take a shortcut really, and sometimes those shortcuts come off, and if they do, everyone claps and says you're a genius. But if they don't, then you're a mug. But that's billiards, isn't it?
Yes.
Oh, that's a lucky break.
Well, he left him perfect, really, didn't he? He left not a bit easy pot, fairly easy, and a cannon, and that's where you don't want to leave this fellow, an easy starter, because you could turn it into anything, really. So it's really slipping away from Steve at the moment. After a promising start, like having a small lead in the start of the first session.
Oh, Matthew ran right through that.
Lapse of concentration from the champ.
Yep. Trying to simple forcer into the top right hand pocket, and he just got it too thick and ran through it. Wasn't easy. He may have had to avoid the double kiss there, but
even the tricky shots they seem so much harder when you're struggling, like.
There's 3 in a row.
Here we go. Amazing.
Yeah.
It's 4 shots in a row missed.
Yep. Yeah. It is amazing. You could you could watch these two for a month.
Well and truly gettable too. You
wouldn't see. Yeah, they were all gettable. Yeah. Well, now they've become difficult, so the odds are it's going to be 5 in a row unless Matthew can pull out a big pot here. Nope.
No. Things have gotten difficult all of a sudden.
Suddenly they have, David, and this is no snack either. I'm tipping 6 in a row here.
Well, especially what's been going on. Well, it's strange you missed it by so much.
Yeah. Try to knock the yellow out and the red out of balk.
No, he's. I think it looks like a pretty easy enough the red.
Yeah, that was 7 there. I'm not tipping 8.
You'd like that to go in.
That's worked out all right. That's a very good. Well, it's a bit under. Actually, it's a bit short.
Yeah. You have to play a good one here.
Yep. One cushion off the top, David. Or
Yeah.
two.
Very hard to judge then.
What's your preference? One or
I
two?
think he's going to try and pot this.
You might be right.
It's just a queuing shot. Like. I fancy him to get it actually. There you go.
Beautiful straight pot. Beautiful carry.
Great shot.
Of course, David, those long pots are a lot easier when you're 800 in front, aren't they?
You got a point there actually. You're feeling good about having the shot than having to pot it to get in to catch up. Like, nonetheless, it was that was a choice of shot he chose, and was the correct shot because it went in. He made it.
Nicely just getting on the outside of the red there. And
yeah.
He's left these in beautiful position here. Little thin cannon just to push the red over the pocket. Oh no. A little bit too thin on the red. He was playing to leave a cannon coming back then, and
yeah, this could be a bit thin to play. I think he has to play run through cannon here.
Yep. Or else go across the table.
Trouble is, I think he's going to have to play it as such to move the white ball away from the rail. Yeah, there you go.
Yeah, that's a good shot. He's got the red out of pork. That's a very good shot.
I'll tell you what, he couldn't have played that any better, really.
Yeah.
Well done.
Thick run through with strong right-hand side to bring that across the table. Pretty good shot.
Well, that's what I say. Being able to play that shot with extreme side makes the pocket so much bigger, and hit the ball accurate with side. These players can do that. Oh. Yes, Matthew. Another easy one missed.
Yep. Yeah, totally unexpected that. It's, particularly by Matthew. Well, that's a good shot by Steve there. Unfortunately, he's left himself a bit straight on the red.
Cannon off the cushion next shot. He's got to look to see where the angle is.
The difficulty here is because he's so straight, he's going to be playing from, from near to the cushion, which he's caught the jaw back and come back onto the cushion. So this constrains his ability to play it with side. Looks like a good angle though.
Yeah, I'll have to play with a little bit of pace. It's hard to say. Oh no, it was fine.
Yeah, it was too. Got in behind them here. This is where Steve shines on this type of shot. His pace control is so good that normally he would bring that red deep into the corner for a pot. He hasn't quite done that, but he's left himself an in off, so no harm done. So here's a good opportunity for Steve here. Nice wide drop cannon. There's no chance of a smother. He's just got to try and get a good sweet contact on the red to leave himself a pot, and just got a bit thick.
Yes, he certainly has.
Just struggling here, Steve.
I thought he'd run through the lots of right hand side. He should make this. Oh, he's playing a pot.
Interesting choice. It's safe double book, but unfortunately he's left himself too straight, so it makes it easier
pushing
for
the white
Matthew.
on the cushion here, I would think.
You would think so.
It's hard for Steve to get out and play another shot. Yeah.
Aggressive shot. He has to play a cannon off the yellow. I mean, that's what he's doing. but he got it. Has it done him any good though?
Landed okay.
I think it has. Yeah, it's landed very well. No, the yellow's just escaped.
Still awkward.
Yeah, I
that's
thought
what
the yellow
happens,
was going to pull up closer to the red there, but it's just gone out of range for him, which is unfortunate. And any suggestions here, David? Screw cannon? Oh, thin cannon. Oof. That's a good try at a very difficult shot.
A little bit on the thin side.
So Matthew's having a good look at these. He's got a very wide forcer off the wide, but they just haven't been working those wide forces for either player.
Cannon's a good shot, I think. I don't think you'll miss that.
Oh, good shot.
No, didn't go for it.
Good screwing off into the baulk pocket. He's just got the wide out of baulk, but let's work on the red for a bit here.
Oh, it was far enough out. It looked like it was tighter than that, but from the camera angle.
Forcing it off the red. Difficult to really know where the red's going to go off that shot. Just got a little bit thick. Pushed it a bit across the table, leaving this pretty wide one. Don't fancy that.
Might be playing another pot.
Might be. Oh, yes, beautiful shot. Pounded that in at high speed. Beautiful cueing.
Yeah, he must be feeling pretty good. Those two long pots he's knocked in.
Just under an hour and a half to go now. Matthew with a very comfortable lead of around 800 points. He must be thinking now that he's inside of the finishing line, what I think will be his 19th Australian National Billiards, which is remarkable considering his relative youth, and puts him firmly on track to match Bob Marshall's record of 21 championships.
Missed it.
He's overcooked it. Interesting.
Looks a bit shocked there, Matthew.
I think he does.
Should have missed that one, but
would you have been playing that?
oh, that was careless too. Steve's first he knows he's not going to win the match now, and it's hard to concentrate and to dig deep when you're in that position. I know, because at least he can try and make a nice break anyway, you know.
Yeah. That looks a bit awkward. Too straight to run through, David?
It looks like looks too straight. I expect him to get a cannon here anyway, because the ball being near the cushion.
It's a big ball, isn't it?
It's a large ball. Very hard to go around.
Oh, that's a bonus.
Yeah, well, there you go. That's when things are going your way. But, you know, when things are going your way, it's like he's made things go his way, you know, with his standard of play. Hasn't been vintage Matthew, and as it hasn't been vintage Steve as well, but
yes, billiards often goes like that, you know. It's, everything just has to click, you know, for both players to play at their best. The table has to be running perfectly. The air has to be nice and dry in the room. It just hasn't quite worked properly for either of them. There's been some very good billiards here. Just
oh yes, there's been a couple of 400s and a couple of 500s and a hell of a lot of 300s all week.
It's a slightly different approach on that drop cannon he took there, which was just cutting the red towards the corner pocket rather than displacing it. But it's worked out. It's worked out fine.
Hello, Ben. Ben Judge has just walked into the venue. Semi-finalist of the National. Got tailed up by Matthew Bolton, which it's pretty common. A lot of players get tailed up by Matthew Bolton, Ben. So well done to making the semi-finals.
Beautiful control, stun screw there, leaving himself an angle, little soft screw, perfectly.
A little bit of left-hand side out on that.
Left-hand
turn
side,
the red a little bit, and all these little subtleties that go into the great players. The game it enables them to stay in position.
And aren't we blessed these days, David, with these spotted balls, where we can really see every little subtle movement that the players make. In the old days with the plain balls, you might not have been able to see so clearly where they're putting a touch of left or a touch of right on their shots. But with these balls and the close-up camera work of Dan, it's really easy to see exactly what they're doing. You can learn more now than you ever could have in previous times. There's an example of Matthew's mastery. He's played that shot beautifully, moving the balls a long way, but bringing them into an excellent position.
Yes, understanding where the balls are and what you need to do in the position. See,
what's he going to do here, David? He's just reverting to safety first. There was a cannon on there, but he just wasn't happy with it, so he took the simple in off the red. And
he didn't want to play that,
but
he played for something else, but he was smart enough to leave himself in a position where he had something to fall back on, and that's something he's been able to do, you know, and why he's such a great player and being able to score so heavy is because he doesn't get himself into trouble as often as most of us do, falling for little traps here and there, you know.
It is a game of avoiding the traps, isn't it, David? So many little traps. That was a lucky kiss.
Nice little rub there.
Yeah. Not only did it direct the red over the pocket, but it also left the white next to the spot for him. So a little bit of a lucky break there.
See, playing that shot that Matthew just played there, I'm sure he would have aimed a little bit thicker on the red there because he's playing it very slow. Because if anything, it's going to drift a bit to the right. He would have been mindful of that. He knows all the nuances on the table, what can go on and all that. So doesn't fall for the little traps like the ball rolling off in that situation because he knows that it could be.
Beautiful pace control on that screw shot where he sent the red 24 feet.
Absolutely beautiful.
To finish it within 2 or 3 inches of where he wanted it. Again, safety first. He could have played a thin pot then, would have had to have taken the rest, but simple enough just to push the red out near the pink spot, and he can bring the red out around.
That's right.
2 cushions over the middle pocket here.
It comes up high, he can pot it. If it doesn't, he can play drop cannon, and as I say, he plays with options, and looks like a drop cannon.
Just fell short If he hit it hard enough, you could hear the ball thumping into the back of the pocket then.
He's okay. For those of you billiard players who are wondering what to do in situations like this, just could be worthwhile to take note of what he does and how he goes about it.
Just two or three possible little soft cannons.
There's one.
You're probably not actually trying to do anything at all on that first cannon other than leave them together, are you, David? And then it's on the second and third ones that you actually work out.
There you go. That's what he did.
Happen. Yeah.
So
perfectly simple, no risks, and left himself a drop cannon to come back down again.
So there was no need to panic and try and do that in one hit. Like he played one little cannon, then was able to do it next shot. So
it's not so good. Another beautifully controlled shot. Slow screw, just going back towards the
the screwbacks. Those screwbacks are. Steve's very good at those too. Probably play the shots exactly as well as each other, I would say, the screwbacks like that.
Nice thick contact on the red there. Leaving his ball out in the open. Lovely billiards.
In off the white, next shot. Yep.
Just one more.
We try and leave this next to the red, I think, so we could push it back behind the spot. No, it didn't work.
It hasn't worked. Yeah.
No.
This can be a bit tricky, this one. Slow cannon can always just move off a bit. No, but safety first, and he just went in off the white. And that's 1,500 up for Matthew. Now just over 900 in front with.
No, that's worked out all right.
With an hour and a quarter to go. Beautiful shot that. Very, very thin. He drove his ball into the pocket, sending the white down.
Lots of left-hand side here.
For a simple cannon.
As long as he doesn't hit it too thick, he'll be okay.
Oh,
he's hit it too thin.
Oh. He did need to hit that one thin, David, because he needed to take the red to the side cushion to leave that in position. But, just a fraction too thin.
It was a tricky one, you know. But a shot that he's able to control very well normally, you know. Probably a sense of urgency has gone out of the game for Matthew in a way as well, because he's, 900 point lead.
Can you give me that one? Just that there. It's just gone too close to the side cushion there. That's actually...
Yes.
Just caught that a little bit thick. Anything can happen with this one. You'll get the cannon, but where the ball's finish is anyone's guess.
Might need a good pot on the red here. Now, in normal circumstances, shouldn't have any worries with this, Steve, but he's been sitting down a long time.
He may play the 6 shot here. Oh, that's beautiful. Yeah.
Nice shot.
Yeah, good shot. I would have preferred for the white not to go in, but
Yeah, exactly.
when did you last see him miss a long Jenny? He doesn't like it. That looks like looks quite okay to me for a long Jenny.
I agree with you. It does look alright. Didn't look alright. Could be the camera angle too, because Matthew played one when it was earlier when we didn't thought it was too far out.
Always difficult long putts in billiards.
It's very well cued, though.
Yeah, wasn't it? Yeah.
Lovely
He
pot.
was a long way away from that.
Probably come back a little bit too far, but he can still
He
probably
has.
get the cannon if he loads it up with a bit of stun, I think. Yeah,
No, just side.
great shot.
Great shot, yeah. Beautiful controlled shot. That didn't try to hit it hard. Just you know, maximum side and made sure he just got to the second ball. Oh, that's a good shot. Look at this. Bit unlucky there with that duel.
He was. It's a little bit in between, isn't it? The right-hand side to check it off the cushion.
Got a little thin though. Oh, beautiful shot.
Yeah,
really
perfect.
checked that up. That came back straight off the cushion after going in at it. You know, quite an angle. The strong side just made it pull straight up. That was a lovely shot.
No.
Nice shot that by Steve. That was very thin. The yellow hardly moved. And he's got to play this one well to throw the yellow round off 2 cushions for an off, which he's done. Nice shot.
Right behind the spot, or a bit to the right of it, would be ideal.
That's perfect.
Yep, perfect. Wrong side of the yellow.
Not if you're Robbie Folvari. That's how Robbie plays those, to take the smother out of it.
Oh. And that's fair enough too. Robbie understands the game and might have to work a bit harder to get top of the table, but definitely takes the smother out of the game for doing that. Yeah.
I mean, it's so attractive to hit the ball on the other side. But you know, there is risk associated with that. Anyway, Steve's got them in absolutely A1 perfect position here.
Oh, hello. One of our referees has just walked in, Kim, not doing the final. I've been working hard all week, Kim, and done a great job, and all the players appreciate you, I'm sure.
Thank you very much.
Kim, of course, is not only one of our leading referees, she's also the media officer for the BBSA, and she's the one who keeps the stream of Facebook posts coming out all the time, keeping everyone informed. And it's surprising how much interest there is in the tournaments and the matches. For people who are at home, they're looking on their phones, they're looking to get the scores, they're watching on on cue ball TV if they're able to. Anything except working, really. They're all just interested in what's happening in the billiards. And well, you could all see, no commentary required there. Everybody could see what happened. Steve played a slow run through with strong side, and he's just finished probably half a millimetre from position. And in doing so, he's left it absolutely perfect for Matthew.
Huge mistake. I don't know if he got a kick, but
Matthew was too straight on the red to do anything much there, so he just didn't try anything fancy. Just potted the red, and now he'll try and recover here with bringing the right back behind the spot, which he's done. But the red's not quite right. He just has to screw in off this. Lovely shot. Taking the red up towards the middle pocket. That's perfect. You got that thin, David?
Strange shot, that one.
Just too thin.
He didn't want to land there, I know that, but he can recover it. No, he's
ran right through it.
That's a bit of losing the plot, that one, for Matthew. I know it can be a long day and a long week and all that, but that was a brain fade. Sorry, mate, but...
That is good, yeah.
Looks like it's a good shot, Steve. Close. Yep, well done. Yeah, to recover the red. That's a tricky part.
It is.
Pretty well needs this yellow close to the balk line, so he can make an easy shot of it.
What do you think he's doing? You're playing a cannon, potting the white. Okay.
I don't know why he's playing a pot, because
oh, that's a very good shot. That was a difficult shot, that. I suspect that he may have played that with just a touch of right-hand side, David, to make sure that it maintained the thin contact against the nap. Do you play those like that?
He made the cannon, even for double balk, it made it a little bit easier for Matthew. But it's difficult to keep on playing the right shots and knuckle down when the game is beyond your reach.
Matthew had a bit of a lash there. He could have gone the short way, but he chose to go around the long way. Doing so inevitably left the red up for Steve, who'll probably be taking this back down to the spot end in short order. Not exactly what he wanted, but it's
no,
okay.
It just makes the long journey a little bit harder. All the way.
He plays those so slowly, Steve. His long journeys, he's just fallen on the last roll, and in playing it that way, he's able to keep the yellow in play.
Yes.
At a normal pace, the yellow would have tended to have been buried on the side cushion, but he's played that beautifully. Screw coming here. Beautiful follow through. You can see the Q-tip following right through to the bed of the table then. He wants a jaw here.
He got a jaw here.
Yeah, perfect, yeah.
Yes, that's a standard shot for Steve, that shot, even bridging up. So, great feel.
It's not quite right.
A little bit thick, that one.
Yeah, he did. Needed to trap the red in the corner there, but it's just escaped a bit, leaving him a tricky shot. Played this Played that well.
Yeah,
We kept both balls in front of him. He's got a shot off the cushion here. Another
go for the centre jaw. Yeah,
could be worse. Good putt. Good pace.
Still just can't quite get it right down, get the ball down there to be comfortable to play top. It's playing recoveries all the time. But you got to play what you got to play.
Yeah, that's a very good shot, David.
That's a very good touch, that one. I'd really like to see Steve knock in a big break.
Good shot.
That's it. Should be able to
just a little stun back to just
make some sort of a
three
score.
balls on a plate. Yeah.
Hopefully he can make a decent sized break.
Yeah, pretty shot that. Just when you think things are looking easy, your ball lands straight and you got to play an alternate shot. What a beautiful shot that was. Excellent shot, at that, yeah.
Steve.
Just a contrast there between screwing back 10 feet and screwing back 10 inches.
He timed that one really well. He's going along quite quickly here, Steve. He's up to 69 without really too much trouble. Bit straight again on this one. A little bit of an angle maybe to bounce that. Yeah, that's a good shot. Yeah, he was able to pinch a little bit of the pocket there and able to
just create an angle to come out. Going across the face of this one. Wants that to just knock back, actually, which it's done.
Well, looks like we're going to see at least 100 from Steve.
Yes, he's concentrating well in this break. Just
but I'm sure that a 2 or 3 will be in Steve's sides, not just 100 and something.
Beautifully cued that shot, David. He's thick run through from that pot. He's
Worked
come
out
right in and out of balk, got the cannon, and
he's loosening his arm up at the moment,
yeah,
Steve, that's
yeah.
for sure. So hopefully he can find that touch.
not quite right.
We should get a long stuff here.
He should.
Um,
Just a cannon with left-hand side. Right-hand side, sorry. Off the red, he doesn't fancy it though. Straightforward from this angle though, David, doesn't it?
sorry?
This cannon looks quite straightforward with
It does, yeah, it does.
from here. Just slow.
And keep the yellow near the spot.
Oh, I think he missed it. Oh, bad luck. Nice 117 there
17.
for Steve, so his second century of the match. He would have liked to have gone
Wouldn't be
on
happy
with
with
that one.
117, isn't it? He's just about to build a break then, and like using those long cues, they can be a bit tricky.
Just slipped past by cigarette paper. He left Matthew in perfect position.
Straight away, Matthew's
Straight
looking
away,
to
Matthew's the drop cannon to go back
get
to the
balls
top
at
of the table. Ooh,
Not good.
this is no snack. I think we'll see him playing a piquet here. David, it's similar to a masse, but you're just spinning the ball straight back. How beautifully struck. Yeah.
Well done.
It's not out of the woods, but it was a lovely shot. Oh, that's a lovely
Nice,
shot.
yeah.
Nice,
Good recovery.
nice camera work there, Dan. Right behind that one.
Well, the white being on the side rail there, it's actually a large ball. It's very hard to go. You can't go inside it, so it becomes a big target. So there's heavily odds on to hit a ball like that with his judgment.
Same again.
And he's got another similar
Exactly
shot.
the
Yeah.
same. It's just he can slip around the back of this one, but
Well,
it's actually not easy to
I
do.
could slip behind it. But it's looks like it's almost impossible, but
So perhaps thin with a bit of side to take the red to the.
Well, just got it.
Just clipped it. Good putt.
yes, I don't know how many times these two players have played each other, but in snooker and billiards over the years, but it'll be a hell of a lot. Very
Very many times. Fair enough. Fair to say that Matthew's definitely had the edge on Steve in billiards, but probably Steve has a slight advantage over Matthew in snooker.
Well, they've had some interesting snooker battles too, I can tell you. They've played in quite a few finals, and they've both been on the winning side and the receiving side. I know that much, and great respect for each other's game. Twice off the spot, red goes in the middle, which means even if this white doesn't land in a good spot, he's got a recovery with the red. He knows it's on the middle spot and can.
Lots of choices here.
A lot of players will pot the red once and then going off, and they haven't got that red on the middle spot to fall back on quite often, which is, I think, is the wrong shot. I think it's better off playing it twice and then going off the white ball. Gives you more options.
Nice soft screw there, just holding the red. He'll drop the white down onto the top cushion for a cannon.
And the fact that Matthew did play 2 pots on the red gives him options to do what he's doing now. Exactly. He was never in trouble.
It was all completely plain sailing. Yeah.
Nice and friendly.
It was.
Doesn't want that to go in.
I suppose you could say that's an error of pace, really, that one, because if he was really concentrating, he would have just held back a little bit on that cannon. And
just a touch.
And just to make sure that he didn't hit it hard enough to get to the pocket and take that risk out. But he's recovered beautifully. Yeah.
Those little close cannons in between the balls, he plays them so well, and he reads what he's got to do, basically to perfection, to get him back there. So
it's funny, you see him do a little recovery sequence like that, and you think, oh yes, that's all. That's obvious, Yeah, I can do that. But that's a different question when you're faced with the balls yourself.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Master of his craft, and he's given a free lesson to all the billiards enthusiasts, really.
Couple of choices here. Let's pop the red. Oh, that's an interesting shot.
Missed it, I think. Yeah.
He did miss it. Most people would have played the pot red then, David, but didn't.
Yeah,
it wasn't quite going to work in terms of the position, so he just took a shortcut, if you like, of a cannon. Didn't quite come off. No. Difficult those against the nap. There's always a tendency for them to just drift away from you, isn't there? He slewed that and lobbed frigid behind the red.
Matthew apologises, which I'm sure is not genuine, but we do that. Say sorry, Dave, but how many of us really mean it? 0.
It's a classic. Go in.
Go in.
Oh, sorry. Isn't it?
That's right.
I think he did show his true embarrassment there, David, because rather than just pot the straightforward red, he went for a rather fancy run through and off.
He did,
come
didn't
off,
he?
But he hasn't left it all that safe. So he hasn't left it all that easy. I mean, that was a difficult leave. Oh, now it looks as though it's back to Matthew.
It kind of appears that it certainly appears now that I wouldn't be surprised if the players are happy to shake hands, really, because Matthew's too far in front, and it's been a long 2 weeks. Well, not 2 weeks, but 8 days. And there's been a hell of a lot of billiards and concentration, and it mentally draining.
That's a good shot. That's pretty wide, that. He had to hit that with a lot of side. To just zip it in off the jaw.
Yeah, it's a bit of the wind gone out of Steve's sails. Understandable.
I was chatting to Matt during the commentary of the Pacific International, David, and he made a very interesting point about the points up format where we played 1500 in the final of that event. And he said one of the advantages of that format is that there's no dead time. We're now, barring a huge turnaround,
Well, exactly.
approaching what you might call junk time in football terms. But in the 1500 up format, the match is never dead. The leading player has to get to his points to finish the match off, and the player who's behind, in theory, always has a chance because he's not going to run out of time. The points are always there for him to get if he's good enough.
Well, I agree with that 100%, and I'd rather play it up to a score, but unfortunately, some players can take a little bit long to play certain matches, and the scheduling for the tournament has to be
practical.
Pretty well spot on. That's why it's like this. And in the past, even playing pennant, you have to have a time limit because of you have to get home and things like that.
Yeah.
And a lot of players, as you know, will use the clock to their advantage and walk around the table and that because the seconds are running out, and it becomes a tactical thing.
You're right, David. But of course, from a practical point of view, it's the only.
That's why I think
thing to do.
I would like to have seen, say, Matthew and Steve in the final playing up to 2000, or something like that, or and it doesn't matter how long you take on a shot, as long as they've got time to play the match.
Yeah, what's he playing here? Cannon. Thin enough. Wow, that was highly speculative, I think, is the highly speculative. Give me a break. Just trying to recruit some alternate commentators for you here. I'm sure you're all getting heartily sick of my commentary, less so of David Collins.
Well, it's not too bad, David. We haven't been thrown out yet, so that's something. What is it? 37 minutes left.
47.
Is it? 40?
Yep.
Oh, yeah. 47 minutes left.
Still time for either of these players, in fact both of them, to make a big break in the last part. Matthew, of course, is quite well known for doing those sorts of things. Last year in the final against Steve, same table over 6 hours. Matthew didn't really fire up until the last hour when he produced a 560 odd.
Yeah.
And there's still plenty of time here for him to make a big break, and time for Steve too to
but for those who don't think that 5 hours is long enough, we've been here to me, a seemingly long time already, and we've still got 47 minutes to go, so it's long enough to pick a winner.
Yeah.
I mean, if you play good enough billiards,
look at that. That's a good shot.
That's
quite a great shot that was. Perfect contact on the red, left himself straight.
That's probably the best shot he's played in today, I'd say. Weight-wise and everything.
Yeah.
Contact and...
Yeah, took the white twice across the table and lobbed it right next to the spot. It's a fantastic shot.
Well, I think Matthews has had his break as far as taking his eye off the ball, so to speak, in the last 5 or 10 minutes, and I know he's got too much pride in his performance to not want to keep on going. So we could see a decent-sized break from Matthew here.
The other factor for Matt, of course, is he more or less had 6 or 8 months out of the game, billiards and snooker, altogether after he came back from England last year. And that's a real mistake from Matthew there. He virtually didn't pick up a cue. And then in recent months, he's come back into it, of course, with the World Championship at the RACV in October. He'll be wanting to get in a pretty solid regime of billiards between now and then. I think there's 1 or 2 events over in Asia that he may be going over to. There's a big event in Thailand coming up, where a lot of the top Asian players and Peter Gilchrist will be there, because he really hasn't had a lot of billiards in the last 12 months. There's some other events up in Sydney and possibly over in New Zealand that he might be considering playing in as well. Just, to make sure he's got the miles under his belt, so to speak, in terms of his preparation for the World Championship.
Yes, as far as the world title goes, I think having this Pacific International and the Australian Billiards months beforehand, it was set him in good stead for the tournament. So I expect him to do very well.
Yeah, I think so. I agree. But solo practice is one thing, but you've got to get that match practice as well. It's quite close to the cushion, but he can just slip in off this. Oh, good shot. Again, perfect pace. Took it up to the middle.
Great shot.
Yeah, very good shot though.
A touch thicker and the double kiss.
But he had the confidence to play that at quite high speed into a pretty blind pocket.
I thought he played a drop cannon there.
Yes. He's got out of that. It's a bit lucky because it's quite close to the side cushion.
He can pot that, so...
Neil Brown taking great care there to spot the red precisely. There was hardly any room for it next to the white, but he just took that extra moment to make sure it spotted correctly. Well, this is the A1 position for Matthew. He can milk this position for...
You do not want the balls in any other position bar where he's got them now, and...
He can milk this for 30 points or so before he has to play the cannon off the top cushion. We'll see how he goes.
Under break coming up.
A fraction short there.
Yes, just going to have to tickle this one over the hole.
Just play that one with a touch of left-hand side, David.
The one he just played?
The pot that he just played there, or plain ball? How would you play that?
Well, I probably would have played a little bit of the pot he played, just a little bit of left-hand side.
Yeah, just to help it towards the pocket.
Which pushes it a little bit to the right, which means you can hit the ball thicker. and these little nuances that Matthew does too, is that enables you to create your own angle because you're using the spin of the ball to turn the ball into the pocket and making a different contact. So quite often when you're potting a ball, it's not so much you have to hit the ball in the right spot as such. It can be what spin you've got on the object ball that you're hitting it with, which creates the pot. So you can hit a ball in the wrong spot, and if you've got that much spin on your ball, it moves the other ball to the side. So you can actually hit the ball in the wrong spot, but the spin straighten it up. And also, having said that, you can hit the ball in the right spot and miss it because you've got too much spin on the ball and it's pushed it offline.
Correct,
so
correct, yeah.
That's why I see some players that just social players, you know, that don't play competition and that, they'll pot a ball from somewhere and all of a sudden the ball hit the cushion and take off some strange angle. It's like, it's half a fluke, but you don't say it's a fluke, you say, well, good shot. You know?
That's right, yeah. I did one of those here earlier in the week. I played a long stun cannon, but I completely mishit it and potted the straight red. My ball was spinning on the bed of the table, which was absolutely fine, except that Matt Bolton was watching me, and he goes, "Oh, beautiful cueing, David." Thanks, Matt. Yeah.
Yes. Well, one thing for sure, David, that these balls do is tell you what you've done.
They do.
You know,
they do.
And, if you're putting unwanted side on it, it'll show you what you've done, and
that's right. They also show you what your opponent's doing, so you get actually more opportunity to learn from your opponent or from better players. You can see more clearly what they're doing. I think they're a great innovation. I'm fully favour.
Well, it's an education in itself. It is, and it shows you exactly what you're putting on the ball and what spin you're putting on, and being able to use a lot of side is so much advantageous.
Yeah, when these
to create the angles and
balls first came out, I heard about them and I thought, oh God, that's terrible. But then I had a hit with them within 30 seconds. I went, yes, these are great. Yeah. Love it. They should have spots on the red in the carom game, the three cushion game. They have spots on the red. As well as on the two other balls. Yeah, well, you can sometimes the red spins. People don't realise that. If it takes some side, possibly transmitted side for those that believe in it, or even a throw off the cushion, you can see that the ball, the red, will have spin on it as well. And we're just chatting here, David. In no time at all, Matthew's knocked up 170.
Well, that's how he's a very quick player, Matthew. Once he's got the balls at top, and gives himself every chance to make a score because it gets into a rhythm, and it's all the top players that play with a rhythm. They don't muck around because they don't want to.
So he's just passed the 1,000 lead now. 1787 to 783, and just marching on to his 19th championship.
Yes, they lock into what they're doing, you know. I might have gone a little bit far there.
See how he recovers.
Yeah, has to push it away. But I'm sure the way he feels, he'll no problem getting it back there again.
What are the odds he lands perfectly on this white, David? Oh, he hasn't. Not only did he not land perfectly, I've put the moz on him there, not only did he not land perfectly, he missed altogether.
Yeah,
the commentator's curse. It was definitely imperfect. Beautiful 191 break there from Matt. He never looked in trouble anywhere in that break. And then just inexplicably missed an absolute sitter.
A lot of players would be happy with 191 break, but I think he's a bit sick that he'd miss such an easy shot. So that's That's what you need, so much concentration.
And we're just taking a brief break here, so we'll take a break from the commentary as well.
Yeah, so we're just waiting for Steve to come back.
Thank you. Steve, 783. Matthew, 1802. Start the clock, please.
Well, we're back after a short break and a little miss by Matthew Bolton. Just wondering if Steve's got anything left in the tank yet. Be nice to see him knocking a couple of hundred.